Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ruckus and The Menace podcast, episode number 28. I am Ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus the Menace.
Tonight we have, or whenever you decide to listen to this podcast, I don't know, just whenever you feel like it. We have a special thing for you guys, like we do every week, where we talk about sports and other shenanigans. But before we get into that, Spennis, how have you been?
It has been a string of complete and utter, at times, chaos. It has been one of working through really preparing and having the painters at the house with my fiance and I there, and my future mother-in-law, just trying to make sure that the painting job is done right. And there, but some big news as far as a live sporting event alerts. I have 4 tickets now, and we'll be taking some people that are much closer to me over here. That I have tickets to the WVU Oklahoma game in Morgantown on November 12th. So I will be working out, probably like kind of hopefully trying to get some people that will make the experience out there. Morgantown great. So we'll have that. So I will have that going on. It's True Blue Week, it's military appreciation. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's a pretty big game even with neither WVU or Oklahoma ranked. How have you been, Ruckus?
Well, first things first, Boomer Sooner. Second of all, that sounded really sassy, but I meant it.
I figured you were gonna go with that, but you're telling me Boomer Sooner when you're in Kansas.
Yeah, thanks for the quick docs, but also my parents are both Oklahoma alumni, so in the family, when it came to college football or anything Oklahoma University related, OU related, I should say, we would watch that stuff. Like they would just have it on. So that's why I say Boomer Sooner, homie.
I figured it was like I knew there had to have been some deeper context as to why you did that.
Your
But
bonfire has been singed.
but come on, at least the bonfire would have been fun with it being a couch.
Eh. But yeah, as far as life has gone and what I've been up to, I've just been watching YouTube, watching football. I watched the new Halloween Ends movie and played some more video games. Played some Overwatch 2, some Battlefield 2042, and for some reason I decided, you know what, I'm not going to be a lazy couch potato or desk chair potato and play some VR. And yeah, that's about it. If you're curious about my VR playing, I like those first person shooters and some like little arcade kind of deals like basketball, baseball, stuff like that. Other than that, not much else.
Yeah. I mean, I've been delving a little bit more into Tiny Tino's Wonderlands, and I'm now nearing the end of the main game of that, and it's been quite a interesting journey and how long I've been trying to play that game. But I will have Gotham Knights coming out this weekend, so I'm gonna have, whenever I get free time, a good amount of fun with that.
I saw that on Steam that the Uncharted Legacy Collection just came out, and I was thinking about it, but I was just like, like I'll get to it when I get to it. I still have some games I want to beat. Still need to
Oh,
beat Guardians of the Galaxy, and that game I've been kind of neglecting. I've been playing a lot of multiplayer games.
it's not a terribly long. It's not a terribly long game either. I mean, I didn't do too. It didn't take me too long to get through Guardians, so
All right.
So I mean, but if you were to get your hands on that Uncharted collection at some point, start running that. I mean, that's an amazing collection.
Yep. And speaking of Guardians, do we want to get into the starting lineup?
Yep. Well,
That was such a smooth
unfortunately,
segment.
unfortunately, the Guardians are out.
And they're not in the galaxy. They're just chilling at home now.
Well, the problem is that their stadium was not sponsored by Samsung. So they can't be the Guardians of the Galaxy.
God damn it, you're right. The only thing that keeps the Guardians together is Josh Naylor and his Rockabye baby. But they're gonna be rocking that baby all the way back to where they came from, or so help me, or so help me. Kind of glad that they got kicked in the can by the Yankees. Yankees deserve a chance, even though.
No,
But yeah,
no. I would have loved for Cleveland, even though it has been a longer drought for the Yankees comparatively. I personally was rooting a little bit more for Cleveland because this is just that Cleveland was that ultimate art of how to avoid a fire sale. And here's the thing. The offseason, Cleveland still could pull off a fire sale. If they really want to regroup.
okay, let's reverse that really quick with the Guardians. The Guardians haven't won a World Series since 1948. That drought is a lot longer than the Yankees drought.
Yeah, but I was saying just getting to the World Series. The last time
Right.
the New York Yankees have made it to the World Series was 2009
That
as
is
opposed
true.
to Cleveland more recently making it in 2016. So that's why I said, like, compared to the last time those teams have gone, I was going more on the recency side. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
granted
right.
that Cleveland has the longer championship drought, but the Yankees had a longer just getting there drought.
Yeah.
But what we have going on here is that we are now in the championship series. But what was the biggest surprise for you in the divisionals?
Man, I was really pulling for the Mariners. Uh, but sucks when they had a really good start and then they had a really bad ending against I believe against the Astros.
I mean,
The Ast
to get swept with your last game going 18 innings and showing all of that fight to get back to try and keep yourself alive. It's a tough out.
especially when you think that you have the game at the palm of your hands and then it gets swept away like that. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention a whole lot to the Mariners game whenever it came to like actually watching it live or like, but I looked at the highlights and that pretty much gave me the knowledge I needed. Like the Mariners, they did not look like they did when they were in Canada and in Washington.
I think they were actually like a year. I think to get to this point, I think the Mariners were a little bit ahead.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
Oh yeah, they were kind of a team that last year they were right on the borderline. This year they were kind of right on the borderline, got to the wild card game, launched themselves a little further ahead to make it into the divisional series. I think if the Mariners continue to improve, let some of those younger players like start getting a little more grizzle in their beard,
You know, a
like
little seasoning, a little steak
yeah,
seasoning.
little seasoning. They'll and playoff experience is going to be a critical thing too, and that adds value. So the Mariners, so really the Mariners, I still think the Mariners just even getting to this position to be able to fight for 18 innings to go tooth and nail with the Astros. And the Astros are no joke of a team.
Yeah, the cheat code I would say for the Mariners for next offseason is keep your relievers healthy, pay pay attention to the rookie development that is going on in your team. Obviously, no shit. And maybe get some more veterans and maybe trade some players like Suarez or some of the or Winker as they call him, the
Yeah, I think
outfielder.
you're looking. I think with the Mariners, you could be looking for either slight retooling of players, or just continuing to develop like more reasonably priced depth.
Correct. And also, you already have your two pitchers. You got Robbie Ray for a long time. You just extended Luis Castillo. I think you're on a good path. This is a
I
very
think you get him a third starter, and you're set.
yeah.
Get
It's
him a
kind of
good
what the
third
Phillies
starter.
did back in the day too. Whenever they went on their World Series runs with Oswalt, Holiday, and Cliff Lee back in
Yeah, I mean,
2008, right? Or yeah,
yeah, 2008. Yep, and that year will get mentioned again. It get mentioned again at some point. But I am also looking into the National League for my biggest surprise, and it's the Padres, and I think San Diego is catching fire right now.
you could say they're frying the Dodgers.
That was a very, very
It made more
shaky.
sense. It made more
Yeah,
sense.
it
Okay,
was
they're
a
the
shaky.
Friars.
Yeah, but the concept behind the term fryer in this case is not involving cooking.
I thought that was like the whole point. But anyways,
No, no, no. The Padres Catholicism with the Padre being Spanish for father, and the fathers in the Catholic religion pretty much are friars.
the more you know.
Yeah, so the whole thing with talking about fry is like, no, this is not involving cooking.
Damn it, I was hungry.
Guess you should have eaten another cheeseburger.
All right, I'll get Andy Reid and we'll all go get cheeseburgers. But
Oh,
anyways, the
but I
Padres.
think, but you also said that yeah, the Padres look strong, continuing their momentum that they had from the wild card series as they stunned the 111 win Dodgers. And I just said
Yeah, how did I?
basically, and my term was more so just saying stunned because it's just th- like it was a complete up. Like this is a complete upset.
How did I guess this? Like last week, I was talking. I think the Padres have potential against the Dodgers when we were before
And I
even the
didn't,
series
and
started.
I wasn't necessarily snubbing you for it because
I
I knew
just
the
didn't
Padres were going to
expect
have
it.
I just didn't think it was going to go down like that. Now,
Yeah, they had no answers for Josh Hader. That's for sure.
well, of course, because he's a big left-handed pitcher that can throw a good four seam, two seam, and slider.
Not just a good one, 100 mile an hour most of the time fastball.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that Edwin Diaz could do the same thing, except you're just not dealing with that stupid da 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 da, like the stupid trumpet.
You kind of got lucky though with Diaz because he was struggling for a while there for a couple of years.
You mean Ed Lose Diaz?
You're damn right.
Oh, so I knew that you said that the Padres Dodgers was your best series.
Oh, for
I
sure.
I went with the Guardians Yankees because of really it going the distance.
Especially when it came to how long it took for them to get done with the series after a rain delay.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh, I actually here's the thing. I don't even think they had just one rain delay. I think they had two.
something like that.
Yeah, they had 2 rain delays because I think they had to push. I think it was game 1 back. They had to push game 1 back, and they had to push game 5 back.
Oh, I didn't know about one. I just knew about the fact that they had a rain delay for the game 5, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, yeah, they started. Yeah, this series started out on a rain delay, or actually started out with a postponement. And then the championship series match you are most excited for. We both clearly said it.
The
Padres Phillies.
Flyers and Phillies.
Yep, we took the Padres and Phillies.
So far, it's been all Phillies, pretty much. The Padres looked like they were gonna run away with it, and then the Phillies came back with a 5-run inning.
Not so fast, my podcast partner. They played earlier today in game 2. This series is tied at 1.
Oh shit! I saw the notification earlier, and it said that they had a 5-run inning, and I assumed, okay, maybe they beat them, but
The Padres won 8-5 in game 2. This
yeah, I'm
series
looking
is
at this
tied
now.
at 1.
God damn it! Did Blake Snell close it, or was he just the winning pitcher from the start?
Let's see here.
Because it says he was a winning pitcher. I just didn't know. Well, if he closed it out, he probably would have. It
Oh,
probably
Blake
would have
Snell
showed
only threw
save.
5 innings. Blake Snell threw 5 innings.
I guess that's enough to deem you as a winning pitcher, if as long as you don't get scored on your.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But here's the
I
thing.
thought it was at least 6 or 7.
It was a 7-4 game. It was a 7-4 game going into the 5th. Then
Oh,
it
okay.
went 8-4, 8-5 by the time the bottom of the 8th hit, and then Josh Hader closed it out.
Interesting, man. See, this is why I shouldn't really trust notifications. I should just like look at it for myself and see with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, but you were saying a 5-run inning. Yeah, the Padres won it. With you saying the Padres had that 5-run inning. So Machado and Josh Bell had huge games going. Machado went 3 for 5, and Josh Bell went 3 for 4.
How did I could probably just look this up by seeing how they had the 4-run second inning, but I'm guessing
Bohm with an RBI single. Got to second on an error by Soto.
Matt Verling doubled.
Verling doubled, and then Sosa doubled, and Kyle Schwarber hit an RBI ground out.
And to think that that Sosa was traded or released on waivers by the Cardinals and is now playing for the Phillies.
Yep. And by the way, a score update in Houston. The Astros have taken the lead.
Boo.
The Astros have taken the lead. So, what are your championship series predictions? Who is making it to the World Series?
Personally, it the route that the Phillies go as of now becomes at a halt. I think the Padres go to the World Series against, drum roll please.
That is a complete 180 from what you've got written down, from what you wrote down earlier in the week.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't see what happened until just now with the Phillies and Padres, okay? And the way the Phillies were going, it seems like they were just kind of slowly but surely getting runs, or they were getting them early, and then the offense on the other side, meaning the Padres, just didn't have the gas to build up and try to get back up to where it was even on an even playing field. And now that they tied it tonight, it has me wondering whether or not how close it's actually going to be, because the Phillies swept the Braves, and then they also took down the Cardinals pretty hard. And both those teams look pretty damn good. I mean, the Braves, yeah, they're a thing. But like the Phillies, they're like pretty much showing the world or the nation like, hey, like we're here to party. And the Padres are like, okay, I'm kind of here to party too, but we have all this talent, so we're not trying to like roar at you too hard. We don't want to show off too much. So
So
yeah, that's
so
why
you
I
got the
think the
Padres.
Padres
So you have the
and
Padres, and how many? How many
for
do
the
you
World
think?
Series.
Yeah, like how many do you think they're? Do you think it's gonna take them?
Oh, I thought we were just guessing what teams were
Oh,
gonna make it.
I'm saying like I was saying like yeah, kind of like where like how many are you thinking that it's gonna go?
Oh, I would say, well, okay, so if it was I think if the Yankees could beat up on the Astros, I think it would be Padres versus Yankees and
So you're
the.
gonna take the 1998 World Series rematch.
Yep, I was a year old. So I would say, this one's gonna be a tough one. I would say Padres in six.
Yeah, I'm figuring that I'm gonna take the Padres in a nice little barn burner 6 game series with the Phillies to make it to the World Series for their first time since 1998. However, I have the Astros making their return to the World Series in really a 7 game bloodbath with the Yankees.
Or you mean a trash can bath?
You realize that that joke
Didn't make any
is
sense.
is so old that I
Dude, it's older than
probably
Dusty Baker.
yeah it's older than it's yeah it is older than Dusty Baker. And here's the thing: you keep coming with this joke, and
Because I
Dusty
despise the
Baker wasn't.
Astros. I,
But
okay,
Dusty
I was
Baker
happy
wasn't
for them
even
in
the.
2017 before they did all this allegations and crap. But once they like finally figured out, oh yeah, this was a thing, I was like, okay, this is bullcrap. Let's all boo at the Astros. I'm for it.
Yeah, so you're basically trying to come up with this old joke because of the Astros and this whole thing, and I'm like, this is now since turned over. The only player that really is slimy from it, still on the Astros, is Alex Bregman.
I feel like it was more than one, but we can talk about that at a later date. I don't want to get too
Wait,
involved.
are you saying that wait, you're still alleging Altuve?
I'm alleging Altuve and yes, with Bregman, and there's still a good amount of people still on that Astros team that were in there in
I
2017.
I actually saw videos with the Altuve thing that Altuve actually had would explicitly tell them not to do it for him. And that he actually, out of everyone that was dealing with the trash can banging, he received it the least amount of times because of how Altuve's stance was with cheating.
Yeah, so I kind of don't believe that. So all I'm gonna say is that's hearsay, and we should move on because I don't want to talk all about the Astros.
Oh, I've got bigger soapboxes to climb on anyway.
Oh God! All right, are we ready for?
Don't say don't say I didn't warn you.
I mean, I've done worse. Trust me. The audience knows.
Okay, so the simulated games, I know that we both had a bad week when it came to fantasy football. I had a 3-1 advantage on players for Monday Night Football, and
I
I
got
didn't
screwed
play
on
Michael
that.
Pittman. Yeah, Melvin Gordon's carry management. Thanks,
Well,
Nathaniel Hackett.
not even
Thanks,
that.
Nathaniel Hackett.
So for mine, I was up by like 7 or 8 points, and one of the guys that was on the other team that was on the other fantasy team, I should say, because yeah, um, they had two wide receivers for one team each. So they had the Broncos wide receiver and Judy, and then for the Chargers they had Perriman. And I was like, maybe Perriman doesn't get very many receptions, and he maybe gets like a couple points. They both got like about 7 or 8 points, and I was like, damn it, because my here's the thing, my uh one of my other players that I was gonna put in there because I had a choice between Tyler Higbee or the running back from the Cardinals, Benjamin, and Benjamin had like 11 points. I could have totally just said screw it, let's put in a running back for my flex points thing, but I lost 77 to 85. But now I'm even again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 2-4, but I'm not in bad shape.
I don't think anybody's in bad shape.
But then, whenever we go to the real games, we're now to the high heat, which is our Week 6 NFL recap. The most impressive team, we both took a MetLife team, but not the same one.
You want me to go first?
Yep.
My most impressive team is the Jets.
The Jets, Jets. Yes, you completely missed an opportunity on that.
I'm well aware of that. I just ignored that.
And then I'm gonna go with a Madagascar reference here and say it's like, where were these Giants from? New York? Oh, it's the New York Giants.
King
As
Julian!
King
Arigasma!
Julian.
Defeat, Mort! Defeat! Where are you
Yep.
guys from? New York? These Giants are from New York? The New York Giants, yeah! I love that movie.
Yep. But the New York Giants is actually my most impressive. And by the way, it's like they used to go, and they used to be because of the very reason of the San Francisco Giants used to being in New York, formerly being of New York City. These Giants that are my most impressive team were the New York Football Giants.
Were the Giants in New York that were playing baseball, were they the... I feel dumb for asking this, but were they the Brooklyn Giants?
No, no, like actually New York.
Okay, I just figured I would ask that because I was like, not because I was curious, but yeah.
No, but no, the team that was originally in Brooklyn
Was the
was actually
Brooklyn
the
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Yeah, that's
Was
what
the
I was
Dodgers?
thinking. Hold up.
No, this was the team that played for. I believe, if I remember this correctly, I think the New York Giants were the might have been the Polo Grounds, most famously for the Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
But then your most disappointing team.
All
we,
right, so
we,
for the
no,
team...
I gotta laugh because we both took the opponent of the opposite game.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
We
So
took
what
the
he's
opponent of the
referencing
opposite.
is the Jets versus Ravens, right?
No.
Or
It was
Ravens versus
no, the
Giants.
Giants, and then the Jets versus the Packers.
So I had the running back Ravens, and he had the Green Bay Packers.
I had the Green Bay Packers, who basically were on paper normally. This would be such a thing, but I was looking at some analysis from Dan Orlovsky, and there was just a lack of execution with the Packers. In certain plays, it came down to just one player missing an assignment.
Oh, he
And
didn't
that
step
what?
in the end zone like Orlovsky did. Rogers didn't do that.
No, we're talking like a missed block,
Oh,
like
I was just making a joke, but let's keep
a
going.
missed block, like missed block by the guard, missed block by the. I think both of them were like missed blocks by the guard. One of them was was Mercedes Lewis as a tight end getting up a little bit too high. on a defensive lineman. So just the Green Bay Packers were just disappointing in their execution. And then your most impressive player this week.
All right, so this man was removed after week 1 of the 2022 regular NFL season from the Kansas City Chiefs and came back from the ashes as a phoenix to rise to the occasion for week 6. This man is the man, the myth, the butt kicker, Harrison Butker. The man that now holds the record for the longest field goal attempt for Kansas City Chief, Harrison Butker.
You know what? I was going to go a certain way with my most impressive player, as I was going to go Jamar Chase, but I got to be a little bit more fair. And I'm also going to take a kicker, but I am going to go also into the AFC West with mine and say Dustin Hopkins of the Chargers.
That man is a freaking god when it comes to perseverance. Like, butt kicker still had to do the same thing when he got injured as well. Like that game that he messed up his ankle, he wouldn't kick off like the kickoff returns to the other team. He would have Justin Reed do that, and then he would take over for field goal later in that game. That is guts.
Oh no, no, but I am talking other than that. Hopkins. I mean, granted, he did not kick a field goal longer than 39 yards, but he made 4 of them and was dealing with an injured hamstring that he will miss 2 to 4 weeks for coming up.
Bill, it takes guts. I couldn't go through that pain.
So this guy was kicking 39-yard field goals on a bum hammy. How else? I had to make the change. When coming to the realization that Dustin Hopkins did all of that on one bum leg.
What a bum.
Like, I'm saying that as like a bad leg, but
yeah, I was just being dumb. Don't mind me.
but
I'm causing a ruckus over here.
Now we're to our pretty much. Has this become one of our new favorite like sections of this? The good, bad, and the ugly this week. I hate that
Sorry,
that
you
never
were
seems to
saying.
come through on the Discord call.
Okay, so I might need to put like my mic closer, but my father suggested to just have a soundbite. But number one,
If you could find like an appropriate, well, I mean, I'm sure you probably could find the appropriate sound effect for this without having to deal with copyright issues.
I like the authentic whoa 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 whoa. See, like I could just put my mic piece up really close, like close enough to where it'll pick it up. But like, anyways, do you want me to go first with my good, bad, and ugly?
Well,
Whoa,
go ahead.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, definitely do that because I'm gonna say this: buckle up for mine, especially with the way I want to close this out. For me, buckle up.
Yeah, I also have a suggestion after the show that we will get to, but all right. So my good. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, the sound effect kind of, it's good for the one time, but then you gotta kind of cut back on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, a hater has entered the chat. I repeat that a hater has entered the chat. All right, first hater happens to be my co-host. Man, I'm so honored.
Not hating, just keeping you in check.
That's what they all say. so, so my good is that the Eagles are still undefeated, 6-0. Yay. My bad is the Cam Akers trade situation because of the fact that this week he was inactive for an illness, and the team wanted him to be utilized more, so there might be a trade situation if they don't come to an agreement with that utilization. And then the ugly. So recently, a couple days ago, Robbie Anderson was traded to the Cardinals, and that was because of the fact that Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown, OU alum, Boomer Sooner, uh, decided or not decided. He is out for an ankle injury for at least 4 to 6 weeks, and not only is he gone, but it also adds a lot of just the wide receiver room in general is going to be a little bit loaded, but also confusing because DeAndre Hopkins is coming back. Yes, he has had a year with the Cardinals as far as just in general like experience with the team, but then you also have Robbie Anderson who just came through. So the playbooks may not line uh line like the planets, but who knows. But I put that as my ugly because yeah, we'll just put
Yeah,
it there.
it's
All
okay.
right, all right. Wah,
So
wah, wah, wah.
I'm gonna start with the good here, and the good for me, and I mean, this is probably like more than good. This is great. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes lived up to the major billing that it received this week. That game did an amazing job in this very Clash of the Titans way of picking up where January left off.
That's for damn sure. Because when it came to the first real like matchup for the Ravens and Chiefs, that first one when you first got introduced with the Pat Mahomes no look, that was a good one. And then the second one at Arrowhead was all right, I guess. And then it kind of just gradually declined. So yes, the Bucks rivalry is still going on. All right,
Oh, with
sorry.
the Chiefs Bills, yep. But then the bad here is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense in a game that should have been handled a lot easier than what the game really truly showed. Because it's bad when Tom Brady has to chew out the offensive line, and the center endorsed it.
I mean, let's be honest here. That's not the first time that's happened.
And trust me, I think if the Tampa Bay offense keeps it up, it probably won't be the last. But the very thing that I'm going to tell you to buckle up for
Hide your wives, hide your kids. Yeah, what I said.
is that my ugly for this week is being a Commanders fan. Yes, I know. I said that for myself. I am one of them, guilty as charged.
Do you have a shot
But
glass?
I've got at least a little bit of vanilla Coke Zero left in my Wendy's cup. but
Close enough.
but but just everything within just a 7-day span that could have possibly happened to the Commanders was in process. This it started no more than 12 hours after we were off pod last week. As Dan Snyder was alleged to have hired private investigators to dig up dirt, and he had dirt on every single owner of the league and Commissioner Goodell. Granted that there's a couple of other things that may have, and along like they're saying like, oh, due to like some report something, it's like Snyder may have the names of certain things dealing with this other Snyder investigation that's going on. And then let alone this report, and along with another one that said that basically people were alleging that Carson Wentz coming to the Commanders was a Snyder deal, and Rivera had no part of it. This all was happening before the Commanders were even playing a game against the Bears on Amazon Prime. The Commanders win the game in rather ugly fashion, 12-7, in a game that was very, very close, very, very close, and it came down to about less than 6 inches. And then the fun continues as Coach Rivera, is standing in front of a podium, or standing behind a podium, and having to deal with the questions being thrown about the Carson Wentz Snyder deal thing. And he goes off and has to cut his presser short because he's so mad. Just looks and says, "I'm sorry, I'm done," as far as this press conference. All on top of that, Carson Wentz, during that game, suffers a fractured finger that he has to go into surgery, and he's out 4 to 6 weeks. And now the starter is Taylor Heinicke, who very much last year, when he kind of had to become the QB1 after Ryan Fitzpatrick suffered his injury. Here we go for about another 16 games Heinicke trying to win it. And then on top of this, Al Michaels during the Prime game is saying that it's like it would be amazing for Dan Snyder to sell the team, and he would love to see it happen. And then for Jim Irsay a few days later to say there's merit in the NFL owners ousting Snyder. Like, everything that the Commanders fans, it's the emotional roller coaster of, can we just enjoy a win in peace? We won a game. We finally are now 2-4, but yet we can't really bask in a win. We can't enjoy a victory because of all this other noise coming from different directions. And by the way, as far as the allegations on the private eyes and stuff like that, Snyder is vehemently and patently denying it. Which probably means he really did it.
And also was full of shit and was just trying to buy time, like normal. There's only so many times where you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna go on a vacation on my yacht." Like, that gets old after a while, so you just gotta make up more shit to add on to the fire.
Yeah. It just basically this entire week has just turned into a complete mess for the Commanders and the Commanders fan base. All right, and the best game this week, I'm sure you know exactly where you're going.
I went with the Bills and the Chiefs.
Which I'm not surprised you went with that despite the Chiefs losing, but that was definitely a very entertaining game. But I went with the Colts Jaguars. And another impressive player, surprisingly enough, was Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice.
And then your worst game this week.
I'm gonna have to go with the Steelers Bucks. Good lord.
I went with the Cardinals Seahawks because that game was just flat. It was flatter than a soda that had been sitting with the bottle open for too long. It was flatter than that. And then, what is your bold take?
Alright, so Eagles fans, hear me out. My bold take is the Eagles will not enter December undefeated.
Okay.
Just truly because you never know what's going to happen in the NFL, but also the Eagles, I feel like, have an easier time, but still, something could happen in the near future.
But
But
look at this. Yeah, I'm going to say this. With you saying that the Eagles will not enter December undefeated, I think the bigger question, and kind of me wanting to really kind of request for support to your bold take, is that realize the games leading up to December are the Steelers, the Texans, the Commanders, Colts, and Packers. Who knocks them off?
so, for my reasoning, I'm gonna say it's for me it's between the Packers or Colts. But in all
You
honesty,
think the Packers are going to kind of have it all together in time in order for that to be the case for the Packers to be able to do that on a Sunday nighter?
I mean, if depending on who they get during the trade deadline and depending on how long it takes for them to get their shit together, yes, I believe it would be the Packers because the Colts, even though they're more of a trap team, they don't have a lot of weapons, but the Packers still do. You still have Sammy Watkins. Yes, you'll be out with Randall Cobb for another 4 to 6 weeks, but you still have Lizard, aka Alan Lazard. I call him Lizard because I think it's funny. Um, but yeah, you still have Lizard and Watkins at your disposal, and
And you're
obviously
saying the
Aaron
Colts don't
Jones.
have weapons?
Matty Ice and Jonathan Taylor doesn't really match. And Michael Pittman, yes, you have Michael Pittman, but he's not like well known. He's not like, let's say this, he's not like the Randall Cobbs or like a Sammy Watkins. He's not well known, but he still has talent and he can show it. But the way you're supposed to show it is like you're supposed to ball out. You're supposed to have those good games. You can't just be like, okay, here's Larry Fitzgerald and only gets like one reception or two receptions a game. You know, like who cares at that point? You could
He
say
just
like,
had 13 receptions last game.
okay, that's in one game though. But you
And,
need to
and
like do that over a matter of seasons though too. Tyreek Hill did that a lot. Travis Kelsey did that a lot. And even before Kelsey had all those reps and everything, no one knew who the hell he was.
you're telling me that Michael Pittman is not a weapon because
Well-known
he's
weapon.
only uh, he's only in his third year in the league.
Okay, still not well
There's a
known.
there's a little bit of there's a little bit of a difference that kind of has to come along with it.
I mean, McCall Hardman's
But
had 3 years in the league.
this is true. But hear me out here. This is also Michael Pittman's first year as a true number one wide receiver.
Okay,
Yes, I'm saying this. A true number one wide receiver. This is only his first year, and he is currently 10th in receptions, in the top 20 in receiving yards. Does not have a lot of touchdowns, but he's in the top 20 in receptions and receiving yards in his first year as a number one wide receiver. Had
yeah,
13 receptions last game, and he's getting he's still getting a ton of targets.
right.
So,
Yeah, I'm not
and this
disrespecting him too much. I was just saying, like, straight up, like, I just, like, you don't have, like, like, dedicated person besides him, is what I'm trying to say. Jonathan Taylor, he has his knee problems and whatever. You still have Philip Lindsay, I think. I haven't heard much about him, but
yeah.
it was the game against. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I'm right. That was the Colts. For some reason, I was thinking it was another team, but yeah, we're still on the Colts. So, like, yeah, you have Matty Ice, Jonathan Taylor, Philip Lindsay, but Philip Lindsay's not really that well lived up, anyways. But yeah, you don't have a whole lot of options. You lost T.Y. Hilton. I don't know if he's retired, but he's no longer there. I'm just saying that was all I was saying. But Yeah, I feel like Green Bay has a better chance of beating the Eagles, and they haven't played them this year, have they?
What,
I'm
Green
looking at
Bay?
the schedule. Yeah, I don't see them being
No,
have
no
already
that
played.
no that game no that game with Green Bay and Philly is the last game in November, and that game is at Lincoln Financial Field.
Who knows? All I'm saying is, it could happen, and that's
I'm
a bold take.
gonna say that if there is one team out of that entire five that beats the Eagles, it would be the Colts. However, I'm gonna say that it's bold, that your take's bold, but I honestly think that they get to December undefeated, and especially if they stay healthy and solid, the first real test. I don't think the Eagles get really tested until December anyway,
Interesting. So,
because you have a 4-game stretch where 3 out of the 4 teams, after you get out of the month of November, you have the Titans, the Giants, who have been surprisingly good, and the Cowboys.
right. So, hear me out. So, what you're telling me is the Eagles may suffer the syndrome of what the Cardinals had last season, where they were undefeated for the most part until they got beat by a big team or someone that was willing to take them out of their undefeated streak, and
Yeah,
then that's what I was thinking you were going with.
yeah, I think that the Eagles are going to be somewhat. The tests are not as well known.
Right.
I mean, or at least not as apparent, I should say, until December 4th, when the Eagles host the Titans. So that so that's where I'm like, the real test comes in December for them. I think they can cruise through. If there's a trap game that kind of comes along the way, you either have, I will say it could be either the Commanders if you get into a lucky stretch on Monday Night Football, but the Commanders play terrible there, and or the Indianapolis Colts. Those are the only teams I see with that.
True story. All right, Spennis, what is yours?
Yep.
What is yours?
My bold take is that by season's end, and I would not be surprised if it is before season's end, that Cliff Kingsbury will be fired. By season's end, hope and would not be surprised if it happened before season's end that Cliff Kingsbury will be fired. Just he looks like he looks like a coach that just doesn't fit anymore. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have this unorthodox offense, but the problem is that there's teams being more creative offensively than you. You came into this Arizona program as a creative offensive play caller. You've got Kyler Murray who can do those plays, but yet you and Kyler Murray are never on the same page. Probably because Kyler Murray, instead of calling up and trying to hit the film room, he's playing his calling is Call of Duty.
And the new one isn't out for another 9 days.
But I think you also can play the campaign early, so who knows if he's even doing that just to get used to the controls. What?
I think it's
I
funny.
said what I said.
I just think it's funny. I wasn't complaining.
Oh, but your burning question this week, Ruckus.
All right. So, after our bold takes, I go with this kind of bold burning question. Is it time to panic for the Buccaneers and the Packers?
Okay. So now we get to start looking into some schedule work here. And the first team I'm going to be looking at here is the Packers. I think the Packers might need to. They might need to do a little bit more panicking because you're on a 2-game losing streak and your next 5, and here are the next 5 for the Packers. The Commanders, which that game is a lot more 50-50 than it looks now. The Bills, the Lions, the Cowboys, and the Titans. And then the next game after that is the Eagles. The alarm should be pounded and pounded hard for the Green Bay Packers. However, where am I going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I'd say it'd probably be a rougher spell with, or not saying the rougher spell. I'm gonna say the Bucks have the Ravens, Rams, and Seahawks after the Panthers.
Well, but then you have the Ravens who are playing as consistent as Lamar Jackson throwing the football.
Good, I like it.
The Rams who are playing as hot and cold right now, or at least as turbulent as the waves along the beach of California.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say hot and cold like Katy Perry, but
No, we ain't pulling that. But the Seahawks could be very interesting, and I believe that game is a London game. That has some intrigue. The Browns could be an intriguing prospect of things, but Tampa Bay's schedule, the very next game is Carolina. So I think the Green Bay situation is more difficult because of the teams they have to play. I think Tampa is currently dealing with teams that are in their own states of inconsistency. So they might be able to come out of this a little more alive than Green Bay after that gauntlet that
yeah.
they're going to have.
Yeah, not to contradict my burning question, but I feel like if Brady somehow starts playing better because of his soon to be ex tells him something mean to get him off his high horse, he could probably do something, but I don't think that's the real issue.
Okay, so my fun option here is, are the MetLife team, or my burning questions here, are the MetLife teams, the Giants and the Jets, for real, or are they benefiting off of facing teams in various states of being? So I'm going to start with the Giants here. They're 5-1. They have played in tough one-score games in results of victories against the Titans, the Packers, and the Ravens, along with barely winning against the Carolina Panthers, and their only loss was a one-possession game against the Cowboys. And every single one of their games for the Giants has been a one-possession game, and only one of them has not gone in their favor. The next,
Kind of reminds me of the Raiders, to be honest, being close.
yeah, but they are the teams that have gotten close. They've gotten close, and they have the rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
That they've been on the favorable side of it, while the Raiders have been on the unfavorable side. But here are the next 5 for the next 5 for the Giants: the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Texans, the Lions, and the Cowboys. I think the schedule is still soft enough for the Lions, or for the Giants, I should say. Soft enough for the Giants that I think they can play well. But the real fun is the 2 games in in the final part of the season against the Eagles. They still have their matchup with Minnesota, and they still have their matchup with Indianapolis. Their schedule at the very end is brutal. Their schedule right there in the backstretch, as soon as, and actually it would be Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day to the end of the regular season is very, very difficult. You have to play the Cowboys on a short week after playing the Lions, who are gritty. You then have the Commanders. You have the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Colts. You play the Commanders twice and the Eagles twice in that stretch, which the Commanders are always known to give the Giants a tough game, usually. And the Eagles are practically elite.
Yeah. Speaking of Thanksgiving games, I just realized that the Bills are playing the Lions, so that would just probably hand them an L right there on Thanksgiving once again.
So I will say that for really the sake of the Giants, I think they are not as. I think their back end of the schedule will really test them. And then really the division matchups are where the Jets get tested, because they still have 2 against Buffalo. But their schedule, as far as who they have kind of playing, is softened up enough that this team may be able to make it solidly into the playoffs with no issues. You have the Broncos. The Patriots are a little chaotic right now, but the Bills are a guaranteed loss. The Vikings are pretty much a loss. And the Lions, it's a very 50-50 game. And they still have both against the Bills. So I think the Giants are kind of one of those teams where the positioning is good for them. But I think that they are benefiting from teams that are in a state of flux, and then schedules that are a little less difficult. And I'm saying that because I think both of them last year were last place teams. They were last place teams in 2021. Which that is true. So they're kind of benefiting from where their position was a year ago and have just significantly improved. What's your thought?
Honestly, it feels like a mixed bag, and it's very hard to tell right now. Yes, their records show something different from what I'm thinking right now as far as how they've shaped up, but it's still early in the season, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I just think that they're benefiting from majorly improving and their positioning, and their positioning. All right, so now we go to actually picking some games in the film room. And we kick it off with college football. Number 9, UCLA versus number 10, Oregon.
I'm going with the Ducks. Oregon Ducks.
I think I'm with you as well. I'm going with the Quack Attack at home. Number 6, Alabama versus number 24, Mississippi State.
Is Bama the home team for this one?
No, and there will be a moment of silence for the Mississippi State player that passed away as well. So,
oof.
So there is a bit of.
Man, I need to know how to spell Mississippi State. I am going Mississippi State because I feel like they could get upset again. Maybe.
I just think Bama is on a tour at this point. And they're going to just kick butt and take names.
All right,
Kansas
K-State or
State,
TCU?
TCU. I'm taking the Horned Frogs.
I'm taking Emaw. K-State, baby. Every man a Wildcat. Yeah, I put Emaw in there on purpose.
Yeah, I'm just
I
putting
would just
K-State.
leave it.
Oh, I'm just putting K-State just so I know exactly what it is. All right. And then last but not least, Syracuse, Clemson.
I'm not gonna fight you on that one. I don't even know
Yeah.
if Syracuse is good. I know
They're
they're good
number
at
14.
basketball.
They're number 14, so they're not a joke. But the fun part is that the NFL picks are very, very entertaining. Atlanta, Cincinnati.
Bengals, who day, who day.
Yep. All right. Yep.
Ignore. Oh, I was gonna say ignore my pick for the Chiefs San Francisco game because we all know. And if you don't know, I'm a
Yep.
Chiefs fan. All right.
Yep. Seattle and the Chargers.
I'm gonna have to go Chargers. Yes, they are a little light when it comes to the peeps they have, but I think they're okay. Cleveland, Baltimore. I'm going Browns on that one.
I'm taking the Ravens.
The Green Bay Packers versus the Commanders. Whew. Yeah.
I think the Commanders defense will step up enough, and we'll get to 3-4.
And then Indianapolis versus Tennessee. I'm going Colts.
I'm the Titans with 2 weeks to prepare, and I believe it's going to look like they're going to have no Shaquille Leonard either. So,
did they ever have Shaquille Leonard yet, or did he not play last week?
I think that he's been hurt.
Because they were saying he was going to play like a week after he played again, or after they played against us, and then I haven't heard anything since, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say that huge game with Matty Ice was just a just a small little flash in the pan.
Yeah.
But
All
the
right.
color commentary this week is, who do you turn to? In these situations, which of the options mentioned do you feel is the best one? Carson Wentz out for 4 weeks following his surgery on his finger. Should the Commanders turn to Taylor Heineke or Sam Howell during this stretch? I think we've clearly known the answer to this already from what the Commanders have done, and they went Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, if you have at least any peace of mind, Taylor Heineke for the win.
But I will say this: if the season has gone, if the ship has gone completely awry by the time that happens, and you're really like completely eliminated from the playoffs, that's the only time Sam Howell gets any PT.
Or if the game is out of hand so much to where you want to rest your starter. But yeah, that's with any team.
But I'm saying that the season is more likely to go completely left for the Commanders than completely right.
Correct.
Dak Prescott is soon to be able to return to play. Should Dallas go back to playing Dak, their usual starter, or keep riding the hot hand with Cooper Rush?
To be honest with you, I feel like you give Dak more time to rest, and I would just ride with Cooper Rush.
It just depends on the condition of the thumb. But I think that them trying to go with Cooper Rush for as long to kind of get Dak to 100% is going to be more critical than anything else.
Yeah.
Tua is set to return this week against the Steelers following his recovery from a concussion. Should the Dolphins go back to running the offense with Tua, or keep playing Teddy Bridgewater and continue to allow Tua to recover for longer?
Since I am not a physician or doctor, I would just say, you know what? If he feels like he wants to play and is comfortable doing so with his his coach's discretion, uh, I would play him because he's your starter, and most of the time, you need to play through whatever happened to you in the past, whether it's a concussion, whether it's a knee injury, you still gotta go in there and do your job. So I would say yes,
Depending
return.
on everything, monitor Tagovailoa closely.
Right.
Monitor him closely. If he looks great, play it. If he doesn't, then Teddy's your guy.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is soon to return from a high ankle sprain. Should the Patriots continue to ride the hot hand of Zappy, or allow Jones to pick up where Zappy left off?
I would personally start Mac, and then if he starts to fall off, pull what the Panthers did with Sam Darnold to move to PJ Walker, and if Mac Jones starts struggling, then put Zappy in, because that's kind of what the Panthers did with Sam Darnold last year. Sam Darnold was struggling in the first half, and in the second half they put in another quarterback just to see if anything would change. That's what I meant by that, by the way, for anyone that's listening and doesn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I would say start Mac, but if Mac has any sort of like adverse thing, definitely go to Zappy.
Yeah.
Now, DeAndre Hopkins is returning from a 6-game suspension. Should the Cardinals expect Hopkins to perform on a full workload or not have Hopkins play in as many snaps due to the adjustment process, especially with the wide receiver room as chaotic as it is?
I think he leads, to be honest with you. Hollywood Brown, he is still new to the process. Yes, his instincts and chemistry with Kyler Murray was good, but they still. I feel like it's sooner rather than later, because here's the deal: their offense, when it comes to passing, has not clicked at all for the most part. You got a bunch of rookies that don't know what the hell they're doing. And yes, Hollywood Brown is not a rookie. I understand that, but he is well known to being a speedy wide receiver for not only Lamar Jackson, but for Kyler Murray in his college days at OU. Boomer Sooner. Um, but yeah, sooner rather than later for Hopkins, show the young bucks how it's done, and also help out your boy Robbie Anderson. Try to understand the playbook, get him comfortable. Sooner rather than later, in my opinion.
As a leader of the team, I would fully expect Hopkins to take the load, to take the full workload and go with it. Whether or not he can help create ways for some of these other secondary receivers to get open, eh. But at least Hopkins will be able to know that he is probably the alpha receiver that Kyler Murray is going to throw the ball to, and I think that the fantasy owners that have him will be just fine. But now that we
Including me.
go from the cut, did you already go for that? Oh yeah, you said that. But now
I
that we
have D
go
Hop.
from
I have D Hop for my reserve,
yeah,
but anyways.
but now that we go from talking our color commentary, we now go to our primetime game. Now, a
Do do
little
do do
recap
do.
of a little bit of recap from last week's primetime game of Deal or No Deal. The better deal went to Ruckus with Josh Allen.
And I also kind of
Beat
half-assed yours, so I mean, oops.
Yeah, and as you can tell, I pretty much got about close to half the points. All right. But today's primetime game, or this episode's primetime game, is called Stat Golf. This game is a number guessing game where Ruckus and I will have certain statistics or even jersey numbers that we will guess to try and get to as close to the correct number as possible. We will be playing 9 rounds, and the lowest score, pretty much meaning that the players who get the closest will win. This is this does not have Price is Right rules with going over, as golf does not necessarily affect as much as the going over side of it. For any difference in guesses, the limit is 10. So if the initial difference of your guess versus the actual number is greater than 10, the score caps out at 10 per hole. If you get the if you get the score exactly right, you will take 5 strokes off of your total score, along with having nothing for the round. Holes 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8, which are your non-jersey number holes, are based on all-time scale. Player names and years must be given. Teams can only be given if asked for. Holes 1, 4, 6, and 9, player names and teams must be given years. Years can be given if asked for, depending. Especially depending on how the question is written. So, hole 1. Category is jersey numbers, Major League Baseball. And Ruckus, Ruckus, you will be going first.
So you want me to give you
Oh,
my question?
oh no, I'm giving my question first. It's just you will be. The recently passed away Bruce Sutter is most commonly known for being on MLB The Show as a Chicago Cub. What was his jersey number as a Cubby?
I'm gonna have to say 18.
You said 18? That is incorrect, and your round one and your hole one score will be 10. The correct answer is 42.
Damn.
He was one of the few players that, of course, was still playing during the time when Jackie Robinson's number was not universally retired. All right, so hole one, jersey numbers, Major League Baseball.
All right, y'all ready for this?
Ready.
In 2012, Dan Otero pitched for the San Francisco Giants. What number did he wear?
To Dan Otero?
Correctamundo.
$30.
What were you saying?
I said 30.
That is a 10 for you as well.
Oh, wow. How far off was I?
About 57 numbers above, so 87 was the actual
Wow.
answer.
Wow. I knew it was a minor. I know minor leaguers typically would have the higher numbers. With mine, it was, yeah, we're both at a 10, but you were off by 24 in my case.
Yeah.
Okay, so the category, you have the single game passing yards record, or single game passing yards all time. And this is based on the top 25. Okay. The former Steelers quarterback Big Ben Roethlisberger reached the 5th highest total in passing yards in a game in NFL history in 2014. He is tied with Boomer Esiason, who also hit this total number of yards as an Arizona Cardinal against Washington in 1996.
And I had to guess the amount of yards.
Yep.
Uh, I'm gonna have to say 750.
Wow. You're nowhere close. 750 when the passing record is nowhere even close to that. Your score is 10 anyway on that. And the correct answer in this case is 522 yards.
Okay, cause for mine it was different, but I'm not gonna give it away
Yeah.
until now. You ready for yours?
Ready.
Alright, here we go. In 2019, Jared Goff tied for ninth in single game passing with 517 passing yards against the Bucks. What was his number?
Talking his jersey number?
Correctamundo.
16.
You are right. You are. Would you say that's a hole in one, or is that just a
Yeah,
one?
that's just exact. If I was exactly on, I just lose 5 points from my stroke total. I just lose 5 at the end, or I get 5 taken off at the end. So basically,
Okay.
the difference is 0, but I get a 5, but I get a 5 stroke bonus.
All right.
Yep. All right. So category hole 3. Top 25 single season home run totals all time. All right. Here's a fun one for you. In 1997 and 1998, Ken Griffey Jr. had had hit the 18th and 19th highest single season home run totals, hitting the exact same number of home runs in both seasons. What was the number? How many home runs in each of those seasons did Ken Griffey Jr. hit? And the same number is the answer to both.
53.
You actually will get a 3 here.
All right, that's better than nothing. What was the actual
As
answer?
56.
Okay. Because for some reason, because when I was also looking at those charts for your question, I vaguely saw Ken Griffey, but I also just didn't like study it that hard. But I don't know. I got close, but I'm happy.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
All right. In his age 29 season, Jose Batista ranked 21 all-time for single-season home runs and hit how many home runs in 2010?
$51.
I'm gonna have to give you 3 points there. His actual total was 54.
54. Yep. I knew I was like, I knew it was something in the low 50s. All right. So at the end of 3 holes, it should be, I know that Ruckus has 23. And I'm thinking if I'm not mistaken, I should be at 8. Because
Cause
I'd be at 8.
yeah,
Yep.
you're right.
Okay. NFL jersey numbers is hole 4. The Hall of Famer defensive end Jason Taylor wore number 99 for most of his career. In 2008, as a member of the Washington football team, he wore this number that is also a multiple of 11.
What's 99?
Oh, what is 90? like with me why I said 99?
No, I said, what is 99 like in Jeopardy?
Oh, he actually did not wear number 99 in Washington. So you get 10 there. It is actually 55. The correct answer is 55.
All right, here is
What,
your
did I kind
jersey.
of fool you with that? Did I kind of fool you with that, Ruckus, or was it just me trying to guide you in the same direction and you
Well,
just
here's
kind
the
of looked
thing.
at it?
I think of like defensive ends having a higher number for some reason, even though
Yeah.
it kind of it. I don't know. Um, I don't know. When I saw multiples of 11, I was thinking it had to be high or low, but I didn't think it was that low.
Right.
All right. So you ready for yours?
Yep.
Joe Montana wore this number between 1979 and 1992 with the Niners. What was his jersey number?
Again, this is also the same one that Jared Goff wore. 16.
Yeah, I should have seen that coming. Yes, you are correct. So now you
16.
have
16. Yep. So it should be 33-3 now.
womp womp. All right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, passing touchdowns in a season. Oh, and this one was definitely one of my fun ones for hole 5. Matthew Stafford's career high for touchdown passes is good for 12th in the single season passing touchdown totals. The 2 seasons that Stafford hit this total number for touchdowns, which Kurt Warner also had during his Super Bowl winning 1999 season with The Greatest Show on Turf, the 2 seasons that Stafford did it were done 10 years apart. How many touchdowns in those 2 seasons did Matthew Stafford have?
What years did Matt Stafford do it?
The 2 seasons. Oh, so you're actually asking for the years.
Yes.
Okay, so we are looking at, and I just want to make sure that I do get this right. Because I actually do want to give you the right years for this. 2011 and 2021.
Um, and this is touchdown passes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 45.
You are getting 4 on this.
All right. All right. So I was off. I needed so it was 50
No.
for 49.
41 was the correct answer. And I was fine. I found that quite nifty that the 2 seasons that Stafford did it, or the 2 years that Stafford hit 41 touchdowns, were 10 years apart. And it was like 10 years because Matthew Stafford hit that at 23, then comes back and hits it at 33.
Yeah.
All right. So now for me, hole 5. Passing touchdowns in a single season.
All right. In 2004, Peyton Manning put up 49 touchdown passes in a single season with the Colts. What was his age at the time?
Manning being 22. Because I think he was drafted as a senior. Tennessee. 28.
You get a 0. God dang it.
So
I figured
Yeah,
that one would be easy, but I didn't know if I could stump you on it.
it was one of those where I was like, I knew he spent all 4 at Tennessee, so I'm like, he's drafted at 22, so that kind of made sense when I traced it back. Okay, so this is a jersey number any sport. As a member of the Atlanta Falcons, prime time had the number of 21 on his jersey. But when Deion Sanders played for the Atlanta Braves, and he wore this number from 1991 to 1994 before being traded to the Reds.
So what was his number as an NFL player?
21.
I'm gonna go with 20.
You're going to get a 4.
All right, I'll take it. So
The number there was 24. All right, so now for me, hole 6.
all right, in
And I
2007.
just
Go ahead.
and just so I'm aware, I'm now at -2, right?
I haven't been keeping score, but
Yeah.
I would say so. I would
Yeah.
say so.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
In 2007, Mason Crosby came onto the scene with the Packers. What number did he wear?
2.
Yep, and that -2 becomes a
-7.
-7.
That becomes a -7. Yep. All right. Hole 7. Single game point totals. This is the NBA. All right. Lakers legend Elgin Baylor and Spurs player David Robinson had a career high of 71 points in a single game. How many years apart were the 71 point games between, or how many years apart between the two 71 point games of Baylor and the Admiral were there? This score was high enough to be 8th all time.
You said how many years apart? You said.
How many years apart were the two
Uh,
were the two 71 point games?
can I ask when Baylor came into the league, or is that too much?
That might be too much information. But consider this. Consider a little bit about what you know of each player, knowing their era.
I don't know about Baylor, so that's why I was curious. Um, I'm gonna go on a whim and say 10 years.
You're gonna get a 10 here, Ruckus.
I figured I didn't know how close it was, cause like I've seen cause when it comes to milestones or things like that, like it takes a while, so I just kind of put a ballpark out there. I didn't want to go too soon, but it is what it is.
So, just a little bit of insight here. With you saying that 10 years apart between the two, you would be assuming that Baylor was playing either with Kobe or with Magic. Elgin Baylor was primarily playing with Jerry West. The correct answer in this case is 34.
Youch.
Was 34 years apart. All right. So for me, hole 7.
Speaking of that friend, in 1962, Jerry West tied for 27th with 63 points in a single game against the Knicks. What number did he wear?
44.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So hole 8. Single season rushing yards. In 2009, Chris Johnson became the youngest running back to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season. His 2006 rushing yards were good for 7th on the all-time list for a single season. But the question given to you here is, how old was CJ2K during that season when he reached this milestone of 2,000 yards?
What was the season again? 2009.
2009.
And it was 2006 whenever he had that season before that was or that
No,
season.
no, 2006 was his rushing yard total.
Oh, okay. Um, how many years has he been in the league is the question.
No, how old was Chris Johnson during that season when he reached 2,000 yards?
27.
You are gonna get a 4. You're gonna get a 4 here.
So he was
23.
23.
He was
Damn.
23. And when I was even looking through this, I think Dickerson had done it in like 24. Was it 24 when he got his? Most of the ones that were in that 2,000 yard club were all under 30.
All right, you ready for yours?
Yep.
All right, the year was 98, and Terrell Davis had a total of 2,008 yards in a single season with the Broncos. Where does he rank all time?
Ooh. 6th.
Did you look that up?
My answer or my question gave Chris Johnson at 7th. So
Okay,
with
fair enough, fair enough.
so
Yeah, you
with
got it.
yeah, so my question kind of explained itself. Yeah, my question kind of explained itself there. Okay, so the last one, the last hole. NBA jersey numbers. Demarcus Cousins, though currently a free agent, last played for the Denver Nuggets wearing what jersey number?
22.
You're going to get a 10 here. The answer was 4.
For some reason, I thought it was double digits, so I figured the most common would probably be that.
Well, his usual double digit number was 15. And then his usual single digit number other than that simple one of 4 was 0. So then the last one for me of NBA jersey numbers.
All right. Rashad Lewis wore this number for the Wizards in 2011.
Rashard Lewis. Nine.
Yes, you are on the money again.
Oh my goodness. I swear I think I was not rigging myself off of any of these that I had. But I am actually going to tell you this. If I would have expanded that single season rushing yards category, that would have been quite fun. Because the one thing that I would have given you is that out of the top 25, there is only one running back who was aged 30 or older. Who was the only running back that was 30 or older that made it into the top 25 of single season rushing yards?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, but I'm gonna guess Emmitt Smith.
Nope. Nope. The only time that Emmitt Smith made the top 25, he was 26. It actually was the 2005 season of Tiki Barber with his 1,860 rushing yards as a member of the New York Giants. And Tiki Barber's age at that point was exactly 30. The next highest player who had an age 30 or more or older season to be in the top 35 was Curtis Martin in his age 31 season with the New York Jets. So really a lot of these running backs that have these big rushing seasons were all under the age of 30. The oldest one, and I was about to give you this one too. Who was the oldest player to rush for 2,000 yards? And that being Barry Sanders in his age 29 season. So that was one thing that when I was going through my question hunting, I looked, I'm like, right away, I'm like, the first thing I noticed was so many players, especially in that running back position, that were hitting these such high rushing yard totals under the age of 30.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest.
Like, and this was just me looking at it. Like, this was just me looking at it and, like, trying to find, like, a creative question.
Yeah.
All right, Ruckus, let's go into the weekly stud and dud now after that. And I was not expecting this to be such a blowout.
It is what it is,
But
man. At least we were prepared this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for you, probably, I think our deal or no deals are probably going to be where we may want to be a little more often. But
yeah.
But Ruckus, who is your stud and dud this week?
All right. Excuse me. My stud is going to be Tommy Townsend to be too good for the NFL to handle by getting a PED test after the game saying in a tweet, "Love a random PED test, classic."
Oh wow!
Which is funny because he's really good at punting in general, but the way he punted against the Bills was spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Townsend is one of the better punters in the league.
And then you want me to do the dud too?
Yeah, go ahead and do your dud.
All right, so my dud is the Texans vice president Jack Easterby being fired after 3 seasons with the team.
Oh my! Wait, so all of that time that he really wasn't doing much of anything.
I mean,
Gets fired.
did Bill O'Brien do much of anything whenever he had higher up power besides being a coach?
I mean, he was a head. I mean, he was a head coach. That's just
Yeah, but he
something.
was also the GM too. Whenever they fired what's his name?
Yes, he must have. Which that makes that crazy in and of itself. That really we haven't had whole lot of work, whole lot of work being done in Houston. They're just not winning games at all.
All right.
But my stud this week was definitely a very interesting one, and that being Ahmad Sauce Gardner for accidentally taking the wrong way yet again and making it into a very interesting moment. As at the end of the Packers Jets game, he received a celebratory cheesehead from a Jets fan. This kind of rubbed Alan Lazard the wrong way, but he took the whole thing in stride. As Ahmad Sauce Gardner is going the wrong way, Lazard knocks the cheesehead off of Gardner's head, but they both really had no malice to each other. It wasn't like a what the like no shoving, no punches being thrown, no fighting. But Lazard in his press conference afterward just called it competitive spirit and just complimented. It was very complimentary of Ahmad Gardner and his nickname. I mean, Ahmad Gardner just is taking like the whole going the wrong way and making it like quite a smooth and very swagger filled thing to do.
Yeah,
Though he's trolling, but it is like it's one of those things where it's almost like Brett Phillips in baseball.
yeah. And here's the thing, Lazard, when it came to his sportsman like conduct, was fair and very positive, whereas you have a player like Aaron Donald, where whenever he gets like crossed or someone talks crap about him after the game, he'll literally take his helmet with him and then try to show up the player that was talking smack about him. There was an actual game where that happened, apparently, and I saw like it was a short video on social media where he was like going up to the other team's area and was like asking who was talking smack and was saying some stuff.
Yeah.
He was looking to pick a fight. My point is, Aaron Donald was looking to pick a fight. Alan Lazar was just like, screw it, have the cheesehead, have fun.
Or just knock it off of his head, just kind of like you're trolling right now, but I'm gonna troll back.
Eh. That's Lazar, just eh.
But
Just like,
my dud for this week, Robbie Anderson who was initially brought into Carolina by recently fired head coach Matt Rule because of his ties to the University of Temple. But he was getting into spats with his position coach, and it required the interim head coach of Carolina, Steve Wilkes, to kick him out of the bench area and send him to the locker room. It triggering a potential trade plan. A couple days later, he has been sent all the way across the coastline to the desert where he will be playing as an Arizona Cardinal. So so basically get into spat with your position coach and get sent packing in a trade to a very, very dry area with a very, very crowded receiving core that pretty much will want absolutely nothing to do with you.
also part of my good, bad, and ugly. Wah wah wah.
Yeah, I think the ugly was the receiver, but it was like I just went right into that dud of like more so him specifically.
Bum 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 bum. Wah
But
wah wah. You're welcome.
Before we all of a sudden get into a duel using 6-shooters, take us out, Ruckus.
All right. Thank
Ride
you,
us off
ladies.
into the sunset.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the Ruckus and the Menace podcast, episode 28. And for the real fans out there, thank you for listening all the way through. But also the people that have just tuned in, or the people that are just tuning in, just to test the waters and see if they like it or not. Thank you for listening to the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I am Ruckus.
And I'm Spence the Menace.
And we are thankful that you guys listen to us and support us, however it may be, whether it's a like or dislike or a comment wondering about a certain question or a certain thing. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about our stuff and what we can improve on or ideas for the show. But also, thank you once again. Anyways, I'm Ruckus, and thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
I said, I'm Spence the Menace.
Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the week. Just stay chillin', man.
Deuces. Bang!
Wah, 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 wah.